episode of SoSheSaid, and we have another guest today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, everybody. My name is B.J. Williams.
And what do you do?
A lot, actually. Where do you want to start, man? I am here today. The reason why they brought me on today is because I started a document series called Can I Be Vulnerable? And it is Can I Be Vulnerable is a series about where black men open up to the world. So they lay their vulnerabilities out on camera, and we edit it and put it out to the world. So that's why I'm here. But what do I do? Shit. I've been an educator for going on 11 years now, either as a tenured teacher or as a sub. I just sub now that I'm in LA. I'm in entertainment. I model, I act, commercials, and all that good stuff. And then you add on, can I be vulnerable? So you add that to my resume.
So what don't you do is the question.
Sing.
Okay.
I don't sing.
What grade do you teach? Or grades?
So with subbing, I am in two school districts. I am in LA Unified and I am in Downey Unified.
Okay.
LA Unified, you can only do primary or secondary. So primary is K through 5 and secondary is 6 through 12.
Yeah.
I do secondary.
Okay.
In LA. Downey, you can do K through 12. So I do it all in Downey and I do secondary in LA.
You're out there with the thugs. I used to be in LA Unified School District, and I had many subs. And to your people, I want to apologize.
So to say, I just had this conversation yesterday, actually, about the school districts and students. And yes, there are some badass kids. Can I cuss on this?
Yeah,
Can I
Say
cuss?
what you want.
Okay, cool. There are some badass kids. Don't let me tell you that there isn't. But for the most part, in my experience, the kids that misbehave, I've always been a type like, damn, why is you wilding right now?
They got the most going on.
And in my experience, I've found out that a lot of times when kids misbehave in school to that effect, it's because of something else outside of school.
Like home life?
Home life. And it varies. I've seen kids just be poor. I've seen kids obviously gang infested neighborhoods. I've seen kids from abusive homes. I've seen kids from group homes. I've seen kids, from divorced homes, and they don't know how to handle that, so it manifests itself in different ways. So I've seen different things, but ultimately they come back at school where there are other adults around, and it's supposed to be a it's supposed to be like a secure place to be amongst their peers with an adult that's supposed to know what they're doing, and then they just be wilding the fuck out.
So we didn't have these. Like, I had like a chirp and a sidekick at best. And
Remember when you used to pass notes in class?
So you guys are a little bit younger than I am. I didn't even want a cell phone. Actually, my dad made me get one when I was in high school.
Oh, you had one of the big ones?
No, I'm not that damn old. I'm not that old.
He had like a pager maybe.
I did have a pager, but I was in like elementary school.
Okay.
And I lost it. My mom was hot. I'm not that old. But no, my dad was like, you about to leave for college. You got to get a phone. And in my head, I was like, yo, I don't want nobody to get a hold of me.
See, that's what kids miss out on now.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want
that.
nobody to have full access to me. Like, I'll talk to you when I feel like talking to you. But my dad was like, you got to get a cell phone because you about to leave and you need to know how it works. I'm like, man, get the hell out of here with that.
You're just trying to keep tabs on me.
Yeah, no, he didn't want to keep tabs on me. He just, when I leave, because I was leaving the state, he was like, yo, I just, you just need to have the communication.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, get out of here,
What
bro.
were you going to do? Go to payphones?
You just didn't need to call me. But him being a dad, being worried and like, my baby leaving, like you should need to have a cell phone. So when he wants to call me,
Yes.
he had access. But he didn't really care about everybody else calling me. But you don't have a phone, you need to know how it works. I'm like, Dad, you pick up a phone and call. Like, it's just like a house phone. Now I can take it with me. It's not that big of a deal. That's the only reason why I got my phone. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have had one for years. Like, I did not want people to have access to me.
That's smart. And before we ask you more questions, let's get into the playlist for the day.
And I'm taking over.
Let's do it.
Because it's still my birthday month.
Yes.
But you know what? Honestly, like I was like contemplating like songs to put on it, but I feel like all of LA has been on the same playlist.
If it ain't
Nipsey
Nipsey,
Hussle.
Yeah.
if it ain't Nipsey, I don't want to hear it.
Honestly.
I don't want to hear it.
So, in honor of Ermias, is it Ashkedom?
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
Nipsey Hussle. I have Blue Laces too, which
There
is
you go.
always the classic. I love that
Of
song.
course, of course.
They Roll.
Okay.
What else did I have on my playlist? Last time that I checked, and then I don't only listen to Nipsey. I'm sorry, like True Confessions.
No.
Yeah.
But I've also been on like old Mary J. Blige too.
Okay. Yeah.
Not that I've been in my feelings or anything.
No more drama. You all right?
No hateration.
So some you want to talk about?
No.
What's the 411?
Hilarious.
Be happy.
You trying to share your world? What you trying to do?
That's cute. That's on Share My World.
Yeah, be happy.
I'm naming all the albums. Just let you know I listen to Mary J.
My life.
Okay.
I'm going down. So, just been on the little, I guess.
on a roller coaster of Mary.
Yes,
Mary
whatever.
Mary will have you on a high, and she'll bring you right back down.
Right.
She will, honestly, but
She'll have you on a low, too.
yeah.
Not gonna cry?
No. No. And then, I Can Love You with Lil' Kim is always like
That's a
a
classic.
fan fave too. So
you sipping on your Honda with Tunisia and Ron?
yes.
Okay.
You got more body than Jane Fonda. Okay, I just want to add my Nipsey one. I've been listening to Racks in the Middle because the
Same.
end verse
The new
kind of
joint.
makes me feel a little bit better. Like he's talking about himself, what his friend would tell him if he died.
Right.
And now we got to deal with that Nipsey's gone.
And it's hard.
So when I get a little sad, I get a little down, like I lost my Tupac.
That's a good
We did.
I listen to Racks in the Middle,
Yeah.
You
Get a
lost a
little
Tupac
inspiration.
disciple.
Yeah, but Tupac did say, "I may not change the world, but I'll spark the brain that changes
and
the
Nipsey
world."
is that brain that
There you
spark.
go. He'll be one of many.
And that's why I said he's a disciple.
Yeah.
I know people like to say, "Oh, he's a new Pac." No, he's not the new Pac. He's what Pac spoke about.
That should be, I think, the way we handle things now. Because even we talk about a lot of the girl rappers on this show, and it's always like, oh, this one's a new Lil' Kim. This one's a new Nicki
she's not the
Minaj.
new Lil' Kim.
And it's like, why can't they just be themselves? But yeah, like a disciple
Let them be them.
of.
Mhm.
We all went to the school of Lil' Kim and Trina.
Well, I'm age myself again. Damn. But they're from the school of, Moni Love, Queen
Okay.
Latifah, MC Lyte.
I can't put Queen Latifah. She's still queen to me. I can't say none of these ladies.
Did you have a boombox too? No?
Yes, I did. Actually.
Okay.
I don't think none of these ladies
I'm
are
born
like,
in the 80s. I was raised in the 90s.
but you got the full 90s.
I got the full
Yeah.
90s. I was like, the 90s was my coming of age.
Lucky.
Yeah, like
I was born in the 80s, like I said, but coming of age was the 90s for me. So I experienced everything 90s. So me, Pac dying, I was at the barbershop when I found out. When the news came in. I'm from Las Vegas, born and raised, so clearly we knew first.
yeah.
So, like I said, I was just raised in the 90s. So, again, Queen Latifah counts. Like, if it wasn't...
No, but I don't think these girls compare to Queen Latifah.
I'm not saying they
in
compare...
her message.
But they kind
At
of
all.
do.
I need a nigga who goes swipe them visas.
But that's the thing. Queen
Yes,
Latifah wasn't speaking too much further outside of that. Her lyricism was different. But the queen was just talking about liberation, and if she want to get her freak on, that's exactly what she gonna do. Now they
True.
speak about it more abrasively,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
But they are an evolution of what Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Moni Love,
Salt and Pepper.
Salt and Pepper. What's her name? I can't think of her name right now. I just watched her thing on Netflix last year. Roxanne.
Okay.
Roxanne Shante.
Yeah.
And they are just the evolution of that. Just like you take R&B, right? R&B is such a raunchy, lyrical thing now. But it's just an evolution of knocking the boots.
And that was like scandalous.
You feel me? Like, I like Silk. I want to lick you up and
Marvin
down. But
Gaye was scandalous.
that's an evolution of, let's get it on.
I Want You is my favorite.
You know what I'm
Marvin Gaye
saying?
song.
It's a good one. Between the Sheets, Isley Brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
Isley Brothers
Like-
have all the bangers.
And,
All
and,
the songs.
and the ladies of R&B and soul, like they were dirty macking and side chicking their ass off.
Yes. The
60s and the 70s.
Ashamed.
You know what I'm saying? Now hold on now. I'm a young lady. As we lay, what you mean? That's about she being a side chick.
Oh, snap. And
you don't realize
tonight's the night you
break
make
it
me a
down.
woman.
Right. So like this is just an evolution, and the evolution is just in the lyrics. They're just more abrasive and more raunchy with the lyrics. But they're not talking about anything different that the ones in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s were talking about. The further we get along, just the lyrics get different. But like they're still talking about lick you up and down. It just don't say that. It says like you just sit on my face. And that's the only difference.
Like Marvin Gaye was like,
Marvin Gaye was talking,
grinding,
but he was still talking about
like humping the stage.
Marvin was still talking about bend it over, and I'm gonna get that.
Please don't procrastinate.
You know what I mean? Like Marvin was talking that yang. Distant Lover, he talking about long distance. He talking about flyouts.
Distant Lover is.
Marvin talking about flyouts. What you mean? He was talking about flying them out. Like, listen, sweetie. Yeah, he was getting fluid out. He was fluing them out. He was fluing them out on Distant Lover, so many miles away. But when I see you.
And Blueface was just interviewed by Angie Martinez, and he said he flies girls out.
He fly them out. Distant Lover, that's all that is. Now I get how, like, our parents would be like, y'all don't know what y'all talking about.
Yeah.
But I always say, like, no, they're talking about the same thing y'all was talking about. Yeah. We're just a little bit more abrasive in our language. That's all that is.
Very true.
I guess
While they go knocking our stuff.
Yeah.
We're just more upfront.
I will say they had better production.
Yeah, like instrumentation and things like that.
I mean, instrumentation, yeah, but I think what's lacking now is musicianship.
Like, what way? Like, the people just throw things together?
Yeah, like the making of a song.
Yeah.
Was a whole... It's like cooking.
Okay.
The people that put them into their cooking, the taste is different. We can make the same dish.
Is that just because technology has came into play? Like
tech, yes, but even with tech, you can still, with technology, still put you into what you're making.
And so you're saying that the essence in itself isn't there?
Yeah, like you can tell when a song, like take Awaken My Love. Mm-hmm. This was made, 2 years ago? But it's soulful as hell.
Yeah.
Right? But then you take, what's another album that's out, that's R&B? Who just came out? And this is not a knock to anybody.
Like somebody like Khaled, like Send Me Your Location.
Yeah, like it's a quick guitar thing, but not even just that song because I love that song, but as a whole project, like just, And I don't know how it was made, but you can tell the difference between when a song is made with instrumentation and musicianship, like they take care of their craft,
like Childish Gambino.
Yeah, like
that's Awaken My Love. Yeah, but I'm saying like we can all make our own versions of macaroni and cheese, and it will all taste differently. We can have the same recipe in our face and make the exact same thing reading that, and it would all taste different because you might put more essence into it.
Okay. Speaking of Childish, that's my stream this pick of the week. It's not on Netflix. It's on Prime Video. And Netflix is going up. So I suggest you people start choosing wisely because there's a lot of streaming services on here anymore. This is not, a one horror show anymore. We got Disney about to come out. And they're taking all of their movies and stuff from all the other streaming platforms.
Wait, Disney's doing their own streaming?
Disney has their own thing now. It's coming.
So you got to choose up. And Apple I say you march over there to Amazon Prime because they give you access to HBO. They have all the little deals.
Or just pirate.
Or you could steal. That's what I do.
See. You said steal.
But I don't like to recommend other people do crimes. We all do what we do. Pirate. The PirateBay.com makes me my joint.
Disrupt the system.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Childish Gambino, a.k.a. Donald Glover, a.k.a. D.A.D., Dusty Ass Donald, if you watch his new little mini movie. And he made this.
He's so lanky.
He made this movie.
Sorry, it is.
And it's called Guava Island.
Oh, with Rihanna?
Yeah. And it's super short. It's like 55 minutes, but it's cute. Hi, Rihanna.
She's so pretty.
And I guess it's like a musical just to represent his album. Like to give his album some more pub on some Lemonade shit.
Yeah, yes. But it kind of goes through all of his albums.
Yeah.
And what led to Awaken My Love and that kind of thing. So it kind of leads into that.
But I like the way
newest one too.
He showed like a little bit of like what is wrong in the world without preaching to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he showed all those Caribbean ladies in the factory making those clothes, and people don't consider that. They don't think of that. They think all stuff says made in China, because China contracts it out to these island countries and pays them less money. Mm-hmm. And it says made in China, but it's went through a lot of hands. Yeah. So it's like, that's a cute little message just to throw in there on the slip and put like good and evil, and they're on the good side because the ladies are making blue outfits. So that's like the easy work. And they go over there to the shipyard and they wear the red. So it's like they're doing the crime. Like, hey, Donald, with the subliminal messages. I see you out here. Smart people know. So the dumb people will just watch the songs and they'll be happy. It looks beautiful. Rihanna's pretty. It's cute. Has a good message.
Hi, Rihanna.
And no spoilers, but it kind of ties in with the Nipsey thing in a way to me, especially with his timing and the way it looked, the last scene of the movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it's kind of eerie, but sure, check it out. It's very cute.
I thought it was good too. But I didn't finish it. I got towards the end and I fell asleep.
Okay, yeah. Because it was very sing.
It's not that. It's just I was past my bedtime.
Okay.
And I go to bed pretty early.
You can't start stuff too late.
I know sometimes I can stay up, but I'll be tired, man.
Okay.
I put something boring on at night because I know I'm going to fall asleep with the TV on.
See, I can't sleep with the TV.
Really?
It has to be dead silent and dark for me.
Yeah.
I can't have... I didn't have a TV in my room. When I got to high school, I took the TV out of my room.
Really?
Yeah. Can I be vulnerable right now?
Go be vulnerable.
My very first reason why because we moved, and my dad was like, I'll get you a new TV. And I was like, nah, I don't want no TV. And in my head, I was thinking, because when girls come over, I don't want no girl in my room just watching TV. We can either have a nap, we can talk, or we get it popping. That was it. Now, I got that from watching my older brother. My older brother would have girls at the house, and they'd be watching 106 in Park, and then she would leave, and he'd be pissed off because nothing went down. Now, some of that is my fault, because we shared a room. And I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, this is my room, bro. If you didn't give me the warning, I would come home from practice, and I'd walk in, and it'd be some nice young lady in there, but you should have told me. I'd have slept on the couch or something, or went in my little sister's room to, we could have played around and have a good time in my sister's room, but you didn't say nothing, so I'm in my room. So some of that is my fault. Mm. But there were times where he did tell me, and I'd be like, so what happened? Because I'm little, bro. I want to know what's popping. Like, because I'm trying to learn, too.
Yeah.
Nothing. Well, what y'all do? We just watch TV. I said, you know what? Take the TV out of my room, Dad. I don't want it. That was my initial reason.
So the TV was a cock block.
Yeah.
TV was a cock block.
Because these girls will come over and milk you for that cable.
It's not that. It's just like, you're young. Well, I was young at the time, so it ain't like I know what the hell I'm doing. Like,
yeah, but you're trying to make out or something.
Yeah, but she don't know what she's doing either. We're both new to this. Like, we don't know what the hell we're doing. So I'm like, yo, the TV ain't going to be a distraction. I'm not saying anything is going to go down.
Very
but it's just,
like at all. We can still be super awkward with no TV, but all I know is the TV ain't gonna be the reason why.
Yes.
Like turn the channel. I like that. Hell no.
Yeah, okay.
And then I read something that said, having a TV in your room or using your room for things other than rest, then it becomes that, right? So if you use your bedroom for work, then it becomes a space where you work.
Yes.
And then it becomes difficult for you to sleep in your room. So I was like, oh shit, psychology.
That was smart.
Boom.
Speaking of things that people probably tend to put on to go to sleep, but it's one of my favorite shows. I love period shows. I used to work in the library in college. I'm a nerd. I'm not ashamed. Game of Thrones, the best period show out in years and years since The Tudors.
Years and years?
Did you watch The Tudors on HBO?
No.
Yeah, so that was sick. And it's been years, almost 10, something like that. Game of Thrones came. Change the game. And this season, the last season, we're only going to get 6 episodes, people. So we're going to have to cherish them and take them in. But they started off, they usually take a long time talking and blah, blah, blah. But this time they came with action.
No, they did not.
We got all these reunions back to back to back.
Okay, so I am a casual GOT fan. And I tried watching Game of Thrones early, and it was super boring.
Yeah, it was.
I was extremely bored. And I was like, all right, I don't really care about this. Because I knew what was supposed to come, like the wars and all that. I'm like, cool, well, I need y'all to fight. And they was talking, and it was just too much talking. And you're talking. I'm like, stop talking and fight. Where's the dragons at? It took 8 damn seasons for the dragons to be born. I don't listen.
Where's the action?
Thank you. Old white people talking that old English shit, please just fight. I don't really care about, like...
the politics.
Yeah, I don't care about your politics.
Trickery, the intrigue.
I've been in American history. Like, American history and how they teach it is just white people. And I'm tired of that. Mm-hmm. So for me to want to be able to watch that, I just kick ass, please.
Okay.
Catch some Dragons. It wasn't too many black people in it, so it was another thing that bothered me.
Zero black people. We didn't get black people.
And then the real nigga they had died from a cut. Like, he got an infection.
Word.
Really? The realest nigga on there? You gonna kill him with an infection? Mm-hmm. Pissed me off. Then the dragon still didn't come. And now we find out they made us wait 2 years for the final season, which we all know is the war.
Yes.
And in the very first episode, you fucking talk the whole time. That's all you do. Didn't nobody throw no...
But it's probably going to build up, though.
This next episode is supposed to be the
war. You only
war.
have 6 episodes.
Oh.
And you want to waste the very first one with trying to bring up, like, I don't give a fuck about reunions. Fight. Clearly, y'all don't like each other. You've been fucking your mom and your aunt and your little sisters and your cousins and shit. Y'all been incesting the whole rip.
Yes, yes.
So I don't give a damn about this reunion because that reunion
speaking of incest, real quick, how do you feel, since we're already in incest zone, right? Cersei and Jaime been boning for a long time. They had 3 kids. Jon Snow is banging his aunt now. Do they stay together? Or when he finds out?
Really
what kind of shit are y'all watching?
My point, right?
That's some white people shit. I'm sorry.
Outside of it being white people shit, like...
This is weird. I don't watch this show at all, but, like, it doesn't sound super appealing to me. From what y'all are describing about it.
No, it's a lot
I like
of
drug cartel shows.
And that is my point, right?
Like,
you want to like have a show about incest and then you got people drawn into the drama and that soap opera of incest, and it's like these people are fucking their family. I don't want to be drawn into the fact that you've been fucking your aunt the whole rip, and now you just asked me, do you and your aunt stay together? You literally just like, so should they stay together? No! He should kill her or she should kill him.
We're not talking about in 2019 if you're banging your aunt.
I don't give a fuck if it was 1690.
Yeah, that's still weird.
But the thing is, all right, so Chad, so lineage and royalty back then was incest.
I know.
To keep your bloodlines pure, but that's why you have sickle cell.
Okay.
That's why why
is sickle cell more prevalent in black people?
Didn't they make us, like, fuck each other like as slaves? Like
shame.
I mean, if you want to get historical, you want your strongest.
Yeah, to breed with the strongest.
Yeah,
and
and if my daddy is and my mom is, well then the kid should. And if the little brother, it just makes sense to breed like you do dogs. Yeah. And we were treated worse than dogs.
We were cattle.
So yes, that's why we have sickle cell now. But the things that a lot of the diseases that you have now that are, like sickle cell, Down syndrome, is a lot of incest.
Ugh. Okay, let's get off this incest topic, please. This is too heavy.
Oh, we were talking Game of Thrones, but
much.
So fuck you, Game of Thrones, for that incest shit, trying to make that shit like normative.
Okay,
like, and she really asked me like, hey, should they stay together? This ain't Scandal. A scandal is like, all right, they might stay together, but you asked me if an aunt and a nephew, because he the king.
Because he's the king.
Have you guys seen the Beyonce documentary on a lighter note?
I have not seen it.
I watched it. It was all performance. I
was kind of disappointed.
But okay.
I mean, I think it was beautiful how the way that she like portrayed like the black colleges and whatnot, because I feel like initially when you watched it as a black person, you got it. You got what she was trying to say.
But
everyone else was just like, oh, this is cool. Like they had no idea like anything about like the step shows or the fraternities or like the whole message that she was trying to convey like all together.
Can I say fuck them other people?
Yeah.
It's not for them.
It isn't, but I'm just saying, I think that's what the documentary was for. She, like, explained it, like, went into detail about it.
I haven't seen it, but thank you, Beyonce, but at the same time, fuck them.
Okay, on his point, so I agree with you. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's cute, right? Black power is something for little black girls to look up to and be proud. Like, I would choose an Ivy League now instead of going to a Cal State because Beyonce made it cute. That's really how teenagers and stuff think. But on what he's saying, fuck the other people. Yeah, I feel like Beyonce kind of just profited off of black colleges and their history and their image and the fact that they're marginalized in the wider America, Coachella specifically, in Indio, California, has no idea what it is. So I'm Beyonce, and I'm going to dress up in the shit that they wear every year at Battle of the Bands. I've paid my $12 and went in high school. and I'm going to do my Beyonce version and make $4 million off the shit. Not donate nothing to these colleges.
Do you know that?
She donated to Spelman, I guess, twice or something like that, but not the millions that you're getting. Like, white people send endowments to their schools.
From what I've heard, they actually do a lot of donating.
Okay.
Just anonymously.
Okay.
And there's no way to either prove or disprove this. I'm just saying from what
Maybe they're just not being like show-offy.
Yeah.
Sure, but names on the buildings in other parts of America, that's what matters. You know, keep a wing open. Black colleges have closed in record numbers. Mm-hmm. They be discredited.
That's a lot of federal shit, too. We shouldn't have to...
give money. You should be...
We shouldn't have to... And I'm saying rely. We shouldn't have to rely on a Beyonce or a Jay-Z to keep a black college open. A lot of that is federal funding.
Sure.
And that's where the fucked up part is. The government should be allocating these funds to these colleges to keep them open.
Then, okay, don't donate money to the colleges. Lobbyists. And lobby the government.
I mean, that's what we're doing
to fix the problem. Celebrities with more money. Because poor black people, we got less than like 4% of the wealth out here. What are we going to do?
I mean, what do you think is going on now? That's exactly what they're doing. You have AOC, you have Ilhan Omar, you have... I mean,
they're new, though.
But you got to start somewhere. You got to have the new people because the old people ain't going to do it.
No.
And then the participation of politics now amongst young people has gone up 280%.
Yeah, because they're making it trendy. Social media.
I mean, I don't give a fuck how they do it, but thank you for doing it. So everybody that's in politics that are new, that had no clue before, you were in it now, that's amazing.
AOC was the youngest person ever, 28.
Mm-hmm. And she's dope, too. I like her.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, back to the Beyonce point.
But for black people still, even with AOC, she's going to push an agenda for all marginalized people, yes. But she's still a Latina. She's still a Puerto Rican person from New York. She's going to push their agenda above all. Whereas our black representative, Ilhan Omar, is going to represent Muslims above all.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel like Beyonce
But there's still,
didn't?
I can't think of her name. I call her auntie, too.
Oh, Maxine Waters.
No.
I was going to say, I lived in her district.
She lost in the South, barely.
Oh, Senator Abrams. Stacey
Abrams.
Love her. But she needs to be in Congress or something. If you lost that.
What do you think she's doing?
She's trying to run for president. I don't think that's going to work.
She didn't say that. She said she might. She's thinking about it. But above all else, she's still going to be a part of the government and do Congress things, which is great. So she's still working. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And if we think about this in terms of like totality and the war on this and the war on that, you need to be able to have multiple battlefronts. You need to be able to battle it from the young people, from the middle-aged people, from the older people, and you know everything in between. I need to be able to hit. If this is the enemy right here, I need to be able to hit it from all sides to make sure that it gets eradicated. So I take AOC if she's going to push the Puerto Rican agenda first, fine. If we're talking about history, if it wasn't for Black civil rights movement, none of these marginalized groups would have anything. So we all benefit.
But I don't understand, why can't we go first then?
Do we have to? Oh, I say that to say, like, if let's just say AOC goes through her heritage route first, are we not going to benefit from that?
On the affirmative action side of the game, like we can all get in this pot now and fight it out with the other.
I feel like that's what other races do with us, right?
That's exactly what happens.
Like they just jump on our bandwagon.
They jump on our shit. So when we did affirmative action and civil rights, the matter of fact, the person that benefited the most from civil rights, white women.
Because they're a marginalized group.
White women benefited the most from affirmative action and all the work that the Black people did. And I'm asking, like, do you think if AOC, hypothetically, did it for her people in that city, would we not benefit from it? Because the goal is to benefit.
Sure. I mean, maybe, but I don't know in what way. Because you can do things.
As long as you benefit, shit.
I guess.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a benefit to be had. Like, I'm going to take it as I get it.
I feel like as long as we know that we can benefit from it and jump on it. Because I think maybe if she's pushing her people's agenda, like, we'll
how we
look
do
at it like, this don't have shit to do with us.
Okay.
If we don't do nothing else, we know how to get out. We know how to get it goddamn right and make that noise and get it popping for us.
So speaking of Black people making noise, have you seen the whole like ADOS trending thing on the internet? And now people talking about reparations for 2020. Like Black people, we shouldn't vote for anyone, or we should save our vote.
For anyone that's not talking about reparations?
No, for someone that's not going to address it.
I agree.
Okay, I agree too.
Shit, give you my motherfucking 40 acres in a pit bull.
And I'm so beautiful in a Cadillac.
I'm not saying you have to push it, but
you don't think that people are just saying like, "Oh, we're gonna give you reparations as a means to get a vote from us"? Like, do you think we're really gonna get that shit?
But
gay
people took Obama's "I'm okay with what you're doing" on the low key side, and they endorsed him and they gave him money and he won. And on his last way out,
he gave them what they wanted.
He turned the White House rainbow. So if that's what it takes for us.
I'm not saying that we're going to get
How fucking
anything.
long have we waited for reparations?
So 8 more years is not going to hurt us.
They can't even admit that racism still exists.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I really don't believe we're going to get that shit.
But that's an entirely different question. That's an entirely different question from what she originally asked. Do we think we're going to get it? I damn sure don't think we're going to get it.
Okay.
But the question was, should we give our vote to a person that won't even bring it up? And I'm going to say, fuck no. If you're not even going to talk about the possibility of getting it, I don't want to hear from you.
Exactly.
Because talking about the part, the possibility of reparations, you're acknowledging the past.
Yes.
And the sins of the past, which has not, we didn't do this. We didn't bring racism to America. We're the victims of it.
We've yet to even get an apology, a formal apology.
You know what I mean? So for me, if you're not even going to talk about it, I'm not saying you don't know that it exists, but in your in your ability to speak about it, you acknowledge that, hey, the U.S. been fucked up for 400 years, and you feel like we should get something, and I'm okay with that. The acknowledgement is where it starts. You can't get somewhere else if you don't even acknowledge there's an issue. Mm-hmm. And, that's like with health. Like, if you don't go to the doctor and get checked up, how can you get healed? Because you don't fucking know. So if you go to get checked up and they let you know, hey, you got cancer or whatever you got, and this is how you can heal it. But if we don't even acknowledge it, how in the hell are we even going to move forward with that?
Like HR 40 has been in Congress forever, since before I was born. The UN, like a few years ago, recommended that they need to seriously look into reparations for black people because we live like a third world country in the southern regions of America.
And you talking about an economy boost?
Right?
If they talking about boosting an economy, you might want to give the most marginalized people
like a decent home, because God knows what they'll do.
We don't deserve this shit at all.
But you said you don't think we're going to get it.
I just don't believe it.
I don't think we're going to get it anytime soon. But again, if you're to attack if this circle right here all the problems are in here, in order to attack that, you need to get it from each side. So with people like Abrams, with people like AOC, with the gay, LGBT community, with talking about reparations, you are now attacking this issue at all sides. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to get in somewhere and make something happen, which the floodgates will open, which then we can start addressing everything else. Mm-hmm. But if you don't want to talk about it, I don't want to fucking hear from you.
Sit down, Miss Houston.
Like, I do not want to hear from you. Don't talk about I need your vote. Mm-hmm. Well, I need some money.
I need a lot of shit, right? I need my student loans repaid.
At the very first, like, you need to just going to give me some cash. And if you don't want to talk about it, then
But do you think their thought process is like, well, black people don't vote anyways, so why would I even attack that group and like promise them shit that I know I can't
If you don't want to talk about voter suppression and all that, then I don't want to hear from you.
Right? Because we don't.
Because it ain't just like we don't vote; it's you've suppressed the votes. It wasn't like just people died for us to vote. So it wasn't like we weren't trying to vote. We were trying to vote, but you were killing us.
And it's not people out here where we live. I think that's why people on the coasts, we feel a different way. But 54% of black people live in the South. Mm-hmm. And all of that shit is bright red.
All right.
We know those black people don't feel that way. So what's going on down there? Right. And every time there's an election, we always see, they switched the voting day. They changed the time. You gotta
have this ID.
You gotta have an ID and a bill with your name on it. Yeah. If you've moved in the past 6 months, you can't vote this time.
Felons and shit. Like, you're a felon.
Come on.
Let the motherfuckers vote, man.
Everything possible, but you don't want to let the felons vote, but you want to count them in your population.
And you get more money the more felons you have, more people in your prison and shit. Like, you know what I mean? If
that?
You don't want to address that, I do not want to hear from you. Period.
And I think that's why Abrams didn't win, because she came out the gate with the felon thing. Her brother's in jail. She's not ashamed of her family.
And this is the thing about her, though. But what she did was what?
She brought it up.
She woke up a whole lot of people that said, well, wait a minute, my people is locked up too. Mm-hmm. And that's how she got that close with the runoff.
And in Florida, they changed the law.
And they still cheated. And she, they had to cheat to beat her.
For sure. For sure.
And to me, that is it. She lost technically, but it's a victory. Like, you have to cheat to beat me. That's how powerful she is. And we're not going to see the full scope of what she's done today. We won't see it for another, 10, 20 years from now. I don't know. But you're not going to see the full scope of what she's done. Just her. And we won't see the full scope of AOC and Ilhan Omar. We won't see the full scope of these women until like years down the line. It's like you don't feel the reparations of presidents, their impact as a president, until like 20 years after they're gone.
Ooh, like Clinton. All
like
you're
feeling Clinton now.
Everybody was clapping. He black.
You're seeing super predators now, but from super predators, we have people that are talking about voter suppression and with felons. You're getting their voting rights. The 3 strikes law. That's super predator stuff. You know what I mean? The war on drugs. Reagan. We're seeing the effects of Reaganomics now. But now all of a sudden weed is legal. Like you're feeling the effects of that now. So you don't feel the effects of presidents till 20 years after the term is up. So obviously with somebody,
do you feel like we feel Trump in this moment?
You're feeling him right now.
Do you think with all of that going on, and I don't think any group of people have to be that politically aware, that, astute to know about all these aspects of life. Do you think that impacts our mental health as a whole group? And the fact that we ignore it as a cultural thing makes it even worse?
You talking about black people?
Yeah. That we have all these things going on, all these outside things that affect us, but we have so much going on.
Are we getting into CIBV right now?
Yeah,
okay.
We are. We're making the transition.
Yeah. All right, so CIBV.
Yeah, like, do you think all of those things compact down on a person and it's too much to deal with?
Absolutely.
And I can only deal with some, and culturally we have to be strong.
Absolutely, and culturally, trauma is passed down. Mm-hmm. We are feeling the effects of the civil rights movement of our parents and grandparents, and they are feeling the effects of slavery. PTSD trauma is legitimately passed down through DNA. And it manifests itself in small ways. So, like, let's just take disciplining your kids, whooping your kids' ass.
Ooh, yes.
I'm not saying they wasn't whooping kids in Africa and shit. I don't know how they were disciplining kids back in the days.
But it was not a beating with the belt.
It wasn't like you was
I
getting
agree.
9 lashings, right?
I agree.
And so you take a foreign group and you bring them to the States, and the way you discipline them to keep them in line is by whipping their ass and locking them up, grounding them. Mm-hmm. You pass that down. It's been watered down now. Obviously, you get your ass with a belt and you get grounded, but you take that same thing years ago and it's 9 lashings and you get locked up in a hole or underground somewhere.
Is that called epigenetics? I feel like we've talked about this
before.
a
little bit on the podcast before, but I always say, I didn't realize it when I was younger, but when I've grown up and I've read a little bit about things like this, I realized that, my grandmother was raised by people that were slaves. And she had a really, really harsh upbringing. So then my mom and my uncles are like, she was crazy. She beat us with anything. Blah, blah, blah. But then when she's taking care of me, she's super calm and she's very not
She done got that ass whipping out of the system.
But she's not democratic at all.
That way.
Yeah. But she's talking to me like, hey, this is not what you can do. And these are why these things are not okay.
Well, I also think, I'm a parent. I have a son. And as a parent, we don't know everything. We're learning to be a parent as we're parenting.
Okay. No one teaches you.
Yeah, there's no book. There's no one handbook on parenting.
Yeah, you need a license to do everything but have a kid.
And then every child's different too.
And that's another thing. You can have a bunch of siblings, but each personality is different. So what works, me whooping this sibling's ass has a different effect on me whooping that sibling's ass. It's not one size fits all. Mm-hmm. And so, your grandma whooping your aunt and uncle's asses and talking about she's crazy. She probably was nuts. But through that experience, she's also possibly learned a lot because your kids become adults and they become, citizens of society. And then you watch how what you've done as a parent manifests itself in your kids. And you're like, well, shit. That, and she probably just ain't got the energy. She got some wisdom. Like, I don't really feel like fucking with y'all right now, grandkids.
Right.
You know what I mean? She ain't got the power she once had with the snapback.
Being whooping. 30 and being 50.
You 26 whooping ass is different than you being 66
I'm not scared no more.
But yes, to say that there's a play on the mental health and the psyche of all of that, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you still have it now when you have people that don't see racism.
Oh, that's so annoying.
And I'm talking like black people that say it's different now. I'm like, yeah. But the nuances are still in there. But
I have to ask you, as a former college athlete, I looked on your page a little bit. Why is it mostly the men that want to preach that and say that? I don't feel like I see a lot of black women that are like, oh, there's no racism.
Because we deal with this shit all the time.
Who's the most oppressive group?
White men.
the most oppressed. Group.
Yeah, black men.
Black women.
Black women. That's what I'm saying. We feel the effects of it all the time.
Black women are the most oppressed group.
Okay. But I feel like we have a little bit more opportunity. Even though we're oppressed, like we got to wear your hair a certain way, blah, blah, blah. We can still get a better job than the average.
Y'all don't. It may seem that way, but you guys don't. By the numbers, you guys don't know.
Okay.
You guys get paid less than we do. Just take the WNBA.
I mean, yeah.
And that's a small sample.
I mean middle class level.
You guys don't.
Like you go into the DMV.
You guys don't.
Okay.
Men still, because this is a patriarchal society.
Okay.
Just because we're men, we have better chances and better opportunities and more of it. The most oppressed woman in America is a black woman, period.
Malcolm X, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Period. And has it changed a bit? Yes, it has. But why do men say? Men
seem to preach that like everywhere, from Twitter to real life to Facebook. The old men are like, honestly, I don't see color. My wife is beautiful, Filipino. She accepts me.
I can't speak. I try not to speak for the groups because I don't know them, and I wasn't raised that way, and I didn't grow up in that kind of thing. So I try not to speak for them. I can only speak from like a psyche thing.
Okay.
And I would just say that it comes from what you were taught. And what they learned, but it's also your community.
Okay.
You take your community where you grew up at, and you're hearing these white men in terms of power, and then all of a sudden you catch some kind of opportunity or a break, and it's like, oh, well, I did it. Why can't you? Mm-hmm. With being blind to the fact that, you specifically did it, but people outside of you
don't have the same.
You just happen to get in because the white man maybe one day felt nice.
Right, or liked you.
He likes you.
Yeah.
But ask how he speaks about that black person across the street. Mm-hmm. And at that time, when you catch an opportunity to move up, it's your opportunity to move up. It's a selfish thing.
And they slip it in there.
They do it because they don't
think that you.
Yeah, they'll slip it in like you aren't like those other black people.
Exactly.
Oh my God, like OJ.
You're a different black.
You're the token black.
Yeah, like you ain't like them. Like you're different. It's
you're
like,
so different.
Like
you're so articulate.
Yeah, like,
oh my God.
You're so well spoken. Oh my goodness.
I think a lot of that comes from, once again, I trying not to speak for them because I did not grow up in that. I did not learn that. I do not know them. But if I'm going to speak from a psyche position, I would think it would be that. Just the environment that they grew up in and a selfishness. Because I can move up now. I can get away from this. Okay. And because I can get away from this, you can get away from this. Like, but that's not how that shit works. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work that way. The opportunities aren't the same for every black person.
So tell us about,
CIBV.
Can I Be Vulnerable? Yeah, and what was the inspiration in starting it?
CIBV started with me. I've been going to therapy for about 5 years now.
Oh, cool. And I just started in January.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So CIBV started it was a personal project with myself. It was my first video. And the way, Can I Be Vulnerable, the phrase itself came about, I was on vacation actually, and I was just on the beach drinking, and it just hit me like, yo, can I be vulnerable? And I'm going to do it. But to what it's become now is something that I, A, didn't want to do, B, just kind of happened by circumstance. Mm-hmm. Again, it's a docuseries, so it's just a bunch of, we're on episode 30 coming up. We have maybe 40-something guys recorded.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So CIBV, Can I Be Vulnerable, like I said before, is just an opportunity for black men to be vulnerable and open up about certain aspects of their life and put it out there for the world. And it was a way for me to talk about why I went to therapy. And it was just certain highlights in my life where they were detrimental to my mental, emotional, and spiritual health. And I was also I had been in couples therapy with an ex-girlfriend. So we were in couples therapy. And in couples therapy, I realized, you can't get this right until you get you right, motherfucker. So.
Yep. That's the crux of the issue.
Yeah, so Can I Be Vulnerable developed out of a multitude of things, and it just came to fruition with CIBV. And now it's turned into a full-blown mental health initiative. And since I posted my video on my social media, I started getting a bunch of stories. My text messages, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter was a bunch of messages talking about they shit. And I was like, listen, I say it in my video, hey, I didn't do this to y'all can tell me y'all problems.
Yeah, to be a therapist. Yeah.
I literally did this because this is something that I needed to do for me and my journey with therapy and healing and shit. I had to speak about it in public. And also, I got tired of thinking that I am the only person feeling like I'm feeling, or I've gone through something that I've gone through. I speak to people all the time, and I know that they've gone through similar things. So why in the fuck am I talking about this, or am I just holding this in internally?
But to me, that's very telling that once you shared yours, a lot of other men probably that look like you.
It was men, women, white, black, Asian,
that
all in my
feel like they could come to you because you're putting that out there. And a lot of us just want to show the highlights. Yeah. So it leaves other people feeling like, my life ain't shit, or I don't got this going on, so I'm going to just post my food, or when I go somewhere nice, that's when I'll pop up. But when you post something real, it's like you get this outpouring. More so if you would have posted your vacation pic when you were drinking. And
that's another thing too, right? On my social media, you only get maybe 20% of any part of my life. Mm-hmm. And I only use social media because I'm in entertainment. If I wasn't in entertainment, I wouldn't even have social media. Like, I don't really care for it that much. It's fine. I like it. It's cool. I have a good time.
No cell phone, no pager.
So I didn't want none of that shit. I was one of those, like, I'll call you when I want to speak.
So do you feel like getting to a place where you could be vulnerable was a journey in itself? Because me being in therapy right now, like, I think that's one of the hardest things for me to do. And I was talking to my therapist about this. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think as a Black woman, like, I was raised by, like, a strong Black woman, and I kind of have, like, buried, like, layers of shit that I've been through.
What's strong? What's the strong part?
Just like going through everything and not showing it.
Like, just.
But that's not strength.
Not exactly, but that's what I'm learning.
So that's what.
Yeah.
And that was another thing for CIBV.
Not looking weak is my thing. Like, I don't want to appear weak or like that I don't have it together. And God forbid that I show any like hint of emotion or the feelings like the world's gonna come crashing down around me. So
for me with CIBV and telling my story, it was like. Once again, you only get 20% on social media, but I've always been very vocal about me going to therapy. I just wasn't on Twitter. I'm on Twitter more than anything. It's my favorite app. So, but I was on Twitter like, yo, I'm therapy today, y'all. What's popping? Like, what y'all doing? And in talking about it on Twitter, it kind of, the conversation started there. But in the actual world, amongst my friends, I was always in the group chats like, man, I'm about to go to therapy today. What y'all doing? Y'all need to go. Like, it's dope. I was always very bigging it up, but as far as filming it, it wasn't hard. I just didn't know how to do it. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do in bringing it to the masses like that. Like I said, it just hit me when I was in Barbados. But to say it was hard, no, it wasn't. I've always been very vocal. I've never hid from the fact that I go to therapy.
No, I mean, just... I guess being vulnerable in itself, like
even going to the therapist and being honest with the therapist and really telling the therapist what's going on.
For instance, like me sitting in front of my therapist, like telling her like personal things that have happened in my life, I'm fighting back tears the entire time.
Why would you fight that?
Because I don't want to look weak. Yeah. I don't want to come across as weak. Like getting to.
Did you not get whooped before when you were a kid for crying? Like, don't cry. You better not cry.
Yeah, I got my ass kicked as a kid.
You're like trying to keep it inside.
This is the thing, and I'm a parent. I've only whooped my son once in his life. Other than that, I've never had to. But like, it hurt my feelings to whoop my son. So when your parents be like, it's gonna hurt me more than hurt you, that's not a lie, yo. Unless your parent is literally just an abusive person, then I understand. Like, that's entirely different. I whooped my son ass and was shook. I called my dad like, man, I had to whip your grandson. I hurt my feelings.
I need to confide in someone.
Yeah. But the thing is, my dad has only whooped me once.
Okay.
And I said, well, Dad, how you feel? He played it cool, like, man, shit, you was wilding.
It was a long time ago. He's so far removed from me.
He said, you was wilding, man. Shit, I gave you some shots and you didn't want to listen. So I was like, you ain't feel bad? He's like, I feel a little bit, but
it is what it is.
Fuck that, little dude.
It worked, right? Look at you now.
But I once again, CIBV has turned into so many things. And it's all happening at once. I am not having a hard time sorting through it, but as this grows, everything like it's piling on as it grows, and I'm learning to, organize it. Okay. It's not overwhelming, so I don't want to say that it's not. I'm not overwhelmed with anything that's happening with this, but that's why I asked you about what's strong. And you like, I don't want to sit in front of my therapist and cry, but why are you there? You went to go, like,
yeah.
I always akin it to, like, if you get sick, you go to the doctor, you have no problem saying, my throat hurts.
True, but
emotional health is different.
That's,
I think that's
only
why
because
such a
there's
big
a
deal.
stigma behind it. And that is one of the core things with CIBV is to get rid of that stigma of, like, I don't want to tell you because I don't want to seem weak. I'm weak as shit right now, so get me strong again is what should be happening. Mm-hmm. I'm weak. I don't feel well. Like, something is wrong. And that in itself that you can admit is some of the strongest shit you can ever fucking do. Mm-hmm. To admit to look in the mirror and admit to yourself, like, hey, something is wrong with you and you have to get help. I don't know anything that's too much stronger than that.
Right.
All right.
At all. And so like I said, we want to be able to break that stigma of I'm weak. You're not weak if you admit that something is wrong with you.
True.
You're not weak if you say you broke your arm and you try to fix. That's not weakness. That's like, fix me. My shit hurts. And it's the same thing. You like, you break emotionally or you break spiritually. If you break spiritually, who do you speak to?
God. If you're
whatever your creed is, whatever your religion is, even if you're just spiritual, you don't believe in religion, you break spiritually, and what do? You speak to whatever higher power you believe in. Mm-hmm. But when you break emotionally and mentally, you're like, I can handle it. No, the fuck you can't. Nope. You break your leg, you go to the doctor, you break your heart or you break your mental, go see a fucking
therapist.
Doctor.
Oh. Speaking of broke hearts,
let them heal you.
We're running out of time, but we got a question for you before we play our game.
Let's do it.
And hopefully you can give us a man answer because we're looking for it. Okay. At what time is it appropriate for a woman to ask or like to have the what are we conversation?
It's never a wrong time to get clarity.
Boom.
All what we
I
are.
like it.
What we are is just a clarifying question. That's all that is. Hey, let me say this. This is me now speaking about like clarity. You'd have asked me before therapy, I'd be like, because y'all like to ruin a good time.
Because y'all are haters, y'all are blockers.
Because you motherfuckers don't like good shit. Y'all like to try. I'd have been talking shit. This is post therapy, me listening to myself.
Because y'all don't like good shit.
Because y'all don't like nice things. You like to ruin a good thing. You like to ruin an easy time. No, but it's never a wrong time to get clarity. And that's all that question is. You just want to be clear about what the fuck's going on so you can move amicably.
So why is it, though, that, like, women have to bring that question up majority of the time?
Because he's having a good time.
Why the fuck would I want to ruin my fun? I'm having a blast. Are you not?
Like, why does it have to be something else?
Yeah, like, are you not enjoying what we're doing right now? Like, why would you want to ruin that?
Oh.
So I'm going to talk shit because y'all like to ruin a good time.
Oh
what you mean?
Hilarious. Well, before we run out of time, we always play a game called Marry or Murder.
Oh, shit.
And you're
Marry, kill. What is it? Marry, sex, marry, fuck, murder?
Fuck, marry, kill. Yeah, but we mix it up. We go quick. Marry or murder. And then at the end, Asha maybe will throw you some fuck, marry, kills.
Marry and murder.
All right. So, marry or murder. You already said hi Rihanna a few times. So,
I've worked with Rihanna too, so hi Rihanna.
There you go. Marry or murder. Rihanna.
If she doesn't marry me?
You're going to murder
her? I'm not going to do that to you.
Okay.
I'm marrying Rihanna.
All right. Marry or murder. Megan Thee Stallion. Do you know who that is?
Yes. I'll marry her too.
All right. Marry or murder?
Whoopi Goldberg.
I'd marry Whoopi.
What? Oh. All right. Whoopi's got cash. She's got talent.
Whoopi got dough.
Marry or murder? Angela Rye.
Who the hell is... Oh, I don't really know her. I don't know who she is like that. I can't even picture her face.
Okay.
So... kill her because I don't know who she. But I'm saying that because I honestly don't really know who Angela Rye is.
Okay.
Like, yes, Jules.
Like. I don't know who she looks like either.
Oh.
So you can kill her.
Okay.
I've seen her on my timeline, but to say I can picture her face, I don't really pay attention to people like that.
Okay, we got to give you more famous.
Nicki.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj. Marry or murder.
Okay. Whoa.
The sound. All right.
You can. Oh, God damn it. You can murder Nicki, man.
Marry, murder. Iggy Azalea.
You can murder her too.
All right. Look, I feel like there's some upstanding qualities in there.
I'm on board.
I know you've named a couple white women, and I don't mess with white women like that. So
Okay.
y'all cool, but y'all just not
Yeah,
funny.
I feel it. Marry or murder. Gayle King. She's Oprah's best friend. She's on TV now. She did the R. Kelly interview.
Yeah, you can marry Gail for sure.
Monique.
Marry Monique, man.
Okay.
But I've met Monique. Monique is actually a very lovely woman. She's dope. She's very dope. She's funny too. I like her. So Monique, and a hell of an actress. So you can marry Monique. She probably nasty too.
Ooh.
She makes nasty jokes, so I guess.
All right.
But that's one thing. But
well, I think we're out of time for this session. We might have to have like a part 2 of this like mental health conversation. I felt like
we didn't really get into the mental health aspect.
Because we were talking about everything else, but it was such a good conversation.
Yeah. Come back whenever.
Yeah.
I live down the street, so.
Okay.
Nice. You're local.
But plug yourself, please, so people know where to find you.
I am BJ Williams. It's on Instagram. It's BJ__Williams. Same thing for Twitter. You could just Facebook it.
And where can they find Can I Be Vulnerable?
Just Can I Be Vulnerable.
YouTube?
Instagram, Can I Be Vulnerable. YouTube is C.I.B.V.
And how do we support you if we want to support you? Do you got like Patreon or something?
No, we are looking for sponsors, but I'm going the professional route. I have a team that is helping with that, and my own personal network that I've been reaching out to. So I'm not asking you guys for money at this point. Just watch the videos and spread the videos. Give them
subscribe, comment.
Just give them to the men in your life, the black men in your any man, because the videos are just black men. Period. It's just for us, but the themes are universal. So just share it with your dad, your brother, your friends, your boyfriends, your husbands, any black man you feel like, or any man you feel like could benefit from it. Let them watch. Follow the page. Follow the damn page. All of them. YouTube, Twitter. Twitter is CIB Vulnerable.
Yeah.
And Facebook is the same thing, Can I Be Vulnerable. Just follow it and share it and like it and all that shit. So it's cool.
Thanks so much for coming here today. It was a great time.
We definitely got to do this again because I felt like we didn't get to the...
We'll get to it.
Good,
we do this all the time.
To the good mental health shit.
We will. Maybe we can go out to the streets. Maybe we can be vulnerable. But we're not men, so it's not going to matter.
It's not different. It's just that women have always been given...
That's true.
The permission. Like if a woman cries, it's like expected.
Okay.
For men, we haven't been given and or taken.
Maybe we can get you some male volunteers.
They want to, yes. I'm not. You don't have to ask anybody. You can, if they say I want to do one, fine. But I don't pressure anybody.
Sure, no.
It's not about that. If you say you want to do one and you're ready, we'll do it. If not, just watch and share and like.
All right. Well, till next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.